Like, because I was about to get like
Well,
real road ragey, and I was
stepped
like,
on it.
yeah, I was.
You're like, and I'm like, oh my God,
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah,
and I'm Carolyn.
and welcome back to Close Knit with
Carolyn.
and Hannah. Yay!
Episode 6.
Episode 6, we're back.
Yeah, we skipped a week. Skipped a week, and we're like, what are we doing? We feel like it's our first one.
Yeah, we're back to trying to get back into it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how you just take a week off and you're just throws you off.
Yeah.
It was a good week. It was my birthday week, so it was
Yeah, that's why we were gone.
like every night.
Yeah.
Every night there was something going on and
Partying it up.
yeah,
Jeez.
it was, I have to say, it was my best birthday week in a very long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I can't remember one just being just so much fun. And I mean, birthdays are fun, but usually you just celebrate one day. I don't usually celebrate a whole bunch of days, which every day should be a celebration, like a birthday.
Yeah, but it's just extra fun.
I know.
When you get presents, I got her a really cool gift.
Yeah, you guys did get me a really cool gift.
Got her a TV.
Yeah, like a cool TV, because mine was broke in my room. Well, I mean, it worked, but
yeah, no,
wasn't a smart one. I'm going to just kind of talk about what we are going to talk about, but then we can go back to our week if you want to talk about that, or if you want to just get right into this subject. I've been chomping at the bit. I've been waiting to talk about this because I absolutely love this conversation, and I have this conversation with you often and with customers who come in the store very often. Every week we talk about this, but our topic this week is going to be signs, synchronicities, and like messages. Maybe messages from above, however, messages from God, messages from loved ones passed on, angels, whatever that is and means for you. I mean, I know what it means for me, and I think you know what it means for you. But we want to talk about our personal stories and things that have happened to us that are unexplainable. Like we call them coincidences, but there is no such thing as a coincidence. Everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen. Anyway, we're going to talk about some stories. I don't know how we even get this started. If we start with my story, our story of how we came about to live in this townhome. Should I start there? That kind of goes back, or?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it even started before that though with you.
Oh, well, yeah, I
could talk about like the crow story.
So do you want to kind of tell what happened?
Yeah. So I remember at the time I saw like a post on Pinterest, and it talked about crows and numbers and how some people like to count crows, and when you count them, like a certain number means a certain message.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told you that, and I was telling you about how intelligent crows are. Like crows are like
an orangutan, you said. They have the same intelligence.
Yeah, they're just very smart creatures. And so you'll see them in groups. I know that there's like, I think I read this on the back of a book somewhere, but something about like crows like hold funerals for other crows or something like that. Like in groups, like they're very smart, very similar to like humans a bit.
Yeah, they are very smart, intelligent.
Don't quote me on that, but I think I read that.
You could read
somewhere.
just read about crows or ravens. Yeah. Everyone thinks they're a bad omen, but they're not.
No, I love crows. And so I showed you that.
I do after this story.
Yeah, I showed you that. And I remember you just were having a night where you just weren't feeling the best, and you felt very stuck. And I was telling you about these crows, this like, you should like count crows and like see what the message is. And then I want to say a little bit after that, we were in the backyard talking about just life and, what's going on in the world.
Well, let's describe what our backyard was, though. It was all these mature trees.
Yeah.
And with a holding pond behind us, but we're kind of closed in with all these big trees around us. It was a beautiful backyard.
Yeah.
And we loved sitting back there. Yes. And I was sitting on the patio back there, and you came back there.
Yeah.
Did you come back there after I was sitting back there? And how do you remember it happening?
Well, I remember I came back there and you were sitting there, and all of a sudden it got really loud.
Mm-hmm.
And
my ears are ringing. That's one of the signs. I'll get to that.
It got really loud all of a sudden, like
the crows
birds cawing. And it was like, I don't even remember how many crows there were.
But
it was
see them. They were like in the trees.
Yeah, they were all in the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, God, at least 50.
Oh, I have no idea. It was just
at
deafening.
Least 50.
It was deafening.
But it was right after I told you about counting crows, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all there. And then all of a sudden it was just all gone. Like it just became silent, like immediately.
Yeah, they didn't fly away though.
No.
They were there.
It just became silent.
Yes.
And we were just shocked because we were like, what is going on?
Right.
Like that's a sign.
Yeah. Like it was loud, 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 loud. And then all of a sudden it just dropped and they didn't fly away. And then after a little while, they all started up again.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That I've never experienced anything like that again.
No, because why? What made them? Why did they were just quiet all of a sudden?
Right.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy. And I feel like that could have been a little bit of a turning point for me because I really was struggling with this recovery and I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling myself. And, just thinking, how am I we were closed at the store at the time, I believe. And so I was just thinking, how am I going to go back to work and feel myself and be cheerful? And because I was just in it. Now looking back, I had to go through that. Whenever you go through a really dark time or it's a down time, that typically is right before things start to change and get good. You have to kind of go through that and feel, and maybe in your own lives, you've had those times when you can look back now and connect the dots. When things got really bad, then usually you have to go through that first and then it starts to get good again. But that would have been kind of a turning point.
I think too, it was the moment you started to trust your gut a little bit
again
more and trust your intuition.
Yeah.
And so then you started counting crows. And now, like, if you're ever in the car with her and a crow flies by, she's going to be like, oh, 1, that means this and this.
Yeah.
Oh, 2, 3, that means celebration.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's really funny. It's just like one of your quirks now.
It is. I'll be tied in the middle of a sentence and I'll be like, oh my gosh, there's 4.
Yeah. Or like, I love when you're working at the store on a Friday and I'm working with you and there will be like 10 customers in the store. And then all of a sudden you'll hear a crow outside and you'll bolt out the door. And I'm left there and they're all like, what is she doing? I'm like, she's just counting crows.
I have
like,
to go count the crows because there's a message in the crows for me. And every day I pray to God, angels, whoever, send me signs all day long. And they do. And crows are part of it for me. It's a very spiritual thing for me. So yes. The crow thing is really pretty cool. And I think things did make a turn after that day. Mm-hmm. And I think that your conversation, without me getting emotional, I do every time with you though, because again, what everyone should know about Hannah. And I think, and I had this conversation with a lady today about our daughters or sons, your children. It's amazing how many things you can learn from your kids. Like you, the parent, and you'll feel this someday if and when you have children, but you, the parent, feel like you should just know everything and that you do know everything, right? I have the experience. I'm older. You don't know everything. And they teach me. Hannah has taught me so much. and has helped me through. I feel like that's why this is close knit with Carolyn and Hannah, because we have been through everything together. But Hannah and I have kind of been there for each other. She's kind of been my rock, like in my life constantly and there for me all the time. And that day, I mean, I was a wreck. I was crying. I was upset. What's going to happen? And
that was the lowest I've ever seen you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was really worried that we weren't going to be able to pull you out of that, but I'm really glad.
I mean,
that sign was there for that.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of the beginning of the healing. It was all a healing process. There was the eagle though when I was in the hospital. That it was like 2.5 days. You have to, when you have a pulmonary embolism, blood clot, whatever, you have to be put on a blood thinner through a IV. And so I was in the hospital for like 2.5 days by myself, and I couldn't sleep. I didn't want to eat, and so all I did was look out the window, and there was a bald eagle that sat at the top of the tree right below my window and stayed there the whole entire day, like didn't move. Like I didn't know, was it sleeping? Like do eagles not, like, don't they like hunt for food? I don't know what eagles do, but that bald eagle stayed in the top of the tree the entire day. And then at about 5 supper time, it'll fly away. And then the next morning, there it was again. And it stayed there again that whole next day. And then the last day I was there, so that was a Tuesday night. So I noticed it all day Wednesday. And then Thursday evening is when I went home. It was there all day Thursday. And it was time for me to go. And so they have to check you out. And I walked over to the window where the bench was to put my shoes on to leave. And I look out the window, and here comes the eagle flying straight at my face. Like it was, and it was over the parking ramp. I don't know why it made a circle because the river by the hospital is right there. It could have just flew off, but it purposely, at just the timing of it, as I'm walking to the window, here comes the eagle, and it's flying right at my face. And it flew right at me, and it flew off into the river. And the first thing I heard was, "You can go now. You're safe. You can go." And I knew in that moment, okay, that was a sign. That was my dad, because my dad's been in heaven, crossed over for the last 14 years. And I knew he was there being that steady rock for me, that eagle. And I love eagles so much, bald eagles. And so, yeah, I knew right then. I just heard a little voice in my head. It's safe. You can go home now. It's good. And so with that little message, and then the crows, really, you can get so many signs and messages from birds and nature in general. Cardinals. Everyone always says cardinals with their passed on loved ones. And I know that's for myself and my mother. Butterflies, dragonflies.
Ladybugs for me.
You tell your ladybug story. That's a good time to come into your ladybug story.
So yeah, for me, whenever I see ladybugs, I know that it's Lily, our dog that passed on, because when I was a kid, I was never allowed to have a pet.
You weren't.
I was never allowed to have a pet. And
you had a worm.
My first pets were ladybugs and worms. And so when we got Lily, I was like 10, I want to say.
Yeah, it was in
10 or 11.
It was in 2010.
Oh, yeah. I was 10 or 11. So I hadn't had like she was my first childhood like dog, but what I consider like early childhood pets were ladybugs.
Yeah.
And so when she passed on, the night before she did, there was a ladybug in my windowsill. I don't know why, but I was so like hyper fixated on that ladybug. And I was like, I was worried about it. Like I wanted to make sure it was safe and okay. I was like, I feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
And then the next day we had to put her down. And the ladybug was still in my windowsill. And then I think I put it outside or something, because I was like, I cannot get attached to a ladybug right now. This is not okay.
No.
Can't do this. And so then I want to say it was like a month.
Well, it was cold out.
It was cold out like a month or two ago. I was just feeling sad about it. I was like, I wish I had Lily here. Like, I miss her. And I was sitting at my desk, and all of a sudden there was a ladybug right next to me.
Yeah.
I have no idea where it came from.
Yeah.
How it got from my window to my desk, I have no idea.
Yeah, where it even was in your window.
Right, because I had cleared out all the ladybugs from the fall. So there wasn't even a ladybug in my windowsill. And all of a sudden it was just there.
Yeah, I remember that because you called me upstairs. You got to come see
I was just sobbing. I was like, oh my God, it's Lily.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's so now whenever I see a ladybug, I think of her. And whenever I see a fuzzy worm too, I think of
caterpillar.
Her. Well, yeah.
Fuzzy worm, AKA caterpillar.
The really fuzzy caterpillars too.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was like a few days after she had passed. So it was like in November. It was cold out. It had just snowed, actually.
It snowed on Halloween. And that's the day we had to put her down. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was a few days later. I had just come home from work and I was like, okay, nobody ever tells you that, like, when your pet dies, like, you have nothing fluffy to hold or pet. Yeah. And I was like, I just want to pet something fluffy.
Right.
And I look outside and there's one single fluffy caterpillar just like in the middle of our porch or our or
patio.
Oh my goodness. Just one sitting there, and it's like past the season.
Yeah.
Like there were no bugs because it had just snowed.
Yeah,
it was the only one.
Yeah.
And it was just sitting there, just chilling there. So I pet it and then I put it on a stick.
Yeah.
And I set it in the grass. I was like, that's what Lily would want.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I think that, you know, if that's what it means to you, and that's the first thing that comes to your head, because some people always ask, well, how do you know if that's what it is? Well, if it's what you feel in your heart, it is, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because the heart never lies, right? What seeks, what is it? Your heart is seeking what you seek, what your heart seeks.
I have no
Regardless, go with your heart because your heart knows. And I think, like, you know, birds, I mean, we got right into this with the signs. The first signs I say are in animals and birds. Well, and just look at the incredible healing that a pet brings to you. You know, we got her after my dad died and after your grandmother, Lil, died. So, and we named her after them, Lily Aloysius. So she was special, and she was a healing animal for us. She healed our hearts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely, first of all, in signs, and where I walk around this area, there's like a woods around like a man-made lake. And 3 times it happened. It wasn't 3 weeks in a row, but 3 separate times I go into the woods, very quiet, like early Sunday morning. And I will ask my dad to come into the form of a cardinal because I know he's with me. And 3 times it's happened when I've asked. The cardinal has come and flown right in front of me and just sat right there in front of me on a branch. It's crazy. That's just so ask. Cool. You've got to just ask. And there have been so many things when I ask Angel, show me a sign, and I'll pick a random object. And that will happen. But, you know, I would say that nature and animals are one of the biggest. If you are ever like feeling just really off, go into nature however you can and just sit there. If you're by a body of water, that's even better.
And I think too, like for me, sometimes I feel discouraged because I'll ask for a sign and it won't come to me. And I'll be sitting outside and I'll be like, okay, I haven't seen my cardinal. I haven't seen my ladybug. Where is it? No sign today. But you have to understand it'll come to you at the moment that you need to see it.
The most.
It'll come to you when you need to see it. And so, you know, that ladybug came right when I needed to see it.
Yeah.
Right when I was feeling super emotional and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
It was there.
And then it shows
And I didn't even ask for it, really.
Right.
If you just keep an eye out.
Really, that's key. is keep your eyes open, keep your heart open. I think for me, the more I started to believe in this stuff, the more signs I got. And it just continues to grow and grow. And another thing that happens, and we'll kind of talk about this store now, but another thing that happens very often, almost every week, is I can be getting ready in the morning. And this probably happens with you guys, because I've heard a lot of people say this happens with them, but I can be getting ready in the morning, putting my makeup on, and a random customer who I haven't seen in months will pop up into my head, and they will come in that day.
Yep. Or they'll message you.
Or they'll message or call. It is insane. Or I will have someone will be in my dreams. And that's the other thing. A lot of messages come through your dreams, but they'll be in my dreams, and I'll either see them the next day, they'll call me something. That to me is just unbelievable when that happens.
That happens to you a lot.
Like all the time.
How.
I don't know. I'm just getting ready and someone will just pop into my head.
You're like a people magnet or something. I have no idea.
I don't know what that is. I can't quite pinpoint what that is, because I'm not thinking of them. Like if you like really think about some, like if I've been thinking about Harry Styles and now like Timothy Chalamet, they haven't come to me in my
Yeah, right.
So it's not like you force your brain. If you keep thinking of someone, they're going to come. That's not necessarily it. Like these people I hadn't thought of, and then there they were.
I had a dream about Jungkook from BTS when is Jungkook going to knock at my front door?
Right.
When is Jungkook going to come into Mackenzie's?
But then, right. But then you have seen all of them.
I have. Yes,
and you will again.
And I will
get back together. You were mentioning something before we started about, and I had forgotten about this, about what happens. This happens frequently as well in the store. You picked up on this and noticed.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where I'll be working on a Friday, because that's when I work in store the longest. And there will be like a customer that comes in and then another customer that comes in, and they weren't together, but either they know each other, or one will start talking to us and the other person will be able to relate.
Yeah.
Or just something like that where they're connected all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And we just see that happen like right in front of our eyes. Just like they don't know each other, but like they could be sisters in a past life type thing.
Right. Or they grew up together and haven't seen each other for 10, 20 years. And then there they both are.
Yep.
In our store.
Yep.
I feel like maybe our store, when you walk through Mackenzie's doors, it's like a time, like a portal or something. It's so weird. Like not Star Trek, like beam me up, Scotty, but it's really weird that happens so frequently.
It is. It happens so often.
Yeah, like they're and I'm just standing back like, holy cow, like they haven't seen each other for how many years? The odds that they're there at the same time.
Yeah.
Again, that I say this over and over, every single person is put into your life for a reason.
Yeah.
And whoever you cross paths with in that day, it's supposed to be that way.
Or even most of the time it's things like someone will be talking to you about an experience that they're going through, and the other person that's in the store will either have gone through it or is going through it. And it's like very unique situations.
Yeah.
It's not like general things.
Right.
It's so bizarre how that works
have like
out.
the same like condition or their mother or something. And they'll have, then all of a sudden they'll have all this insight to add to the conversation to help the person who's currently going through it. That is another, and some people would just say that's God's grace. That is the grace of God. And maybe some people would say you attract that into, that's, you put that out in the universe and then you attract that. And I feel like Mackenzie's is such a healing place.
It has that energy.
So much healing goes on in that store.
A lot does. And I think for a lot of people, it's just the right place at the right time type feel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how it works out like that, but it feels really cool to be a part of it.
Yeah. Like I'll
just be standing there like, that is crazy.
Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's my saying. Yeah. I'm feeling that more and more. Like when I first started working there just part-time, I thought, oh, this is great. A great little store. I love clothes. I love accessories. It has evolved into like a safe zone and a place for people to come. And, God bless our customers and bless them for trusting us with their personal stories and sharing those things, because a lot of things are really difficult to share, but they believe in us and they trust us enough. And that, what a privilege that is.
Yeah, there are very few professions where you get to experience that, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's not like when you work at because I've worked at stores at the mall, you don't have time, to stand around really and really get to know someone and talk to them. And I like that, having a little hometown boutique. People come in, strangers or people and you have some time. And I love to take the time, and we like to take the time to talk to people. That, again, is where you're going to get your messages, because God speaks through other people. Universe, whatever you're calling in, will come to you in a message through other people. And that happens to me over and over. And some days I will literally pray on my way into work, give me the message I need to hear today, and let it come through another person. And someone will come in that I have never met before, and they'll have some deep, incredible message. And I'll be like almost crying, and they'll be looking at me like, why is she crying? And I'll realize in that moment, there it is.
Yeah.
There's that message I needed to hear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Mackenzie's is some kind of portal.
So come in.
It's a magical. I'm not just saying that to get customers. It's everybody who's listening that comes into the store. They've probably experienced it at least once, if they've talked to me or Hannah or someone.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense, and it's pretty wonderful. It's intensely wonderful. And at some point you just realize we are all connected. We are all connected. So I'm going to just tell the story of how, so we were living in a house, and then the divorce happened. And so we sold the house, and Hannah and I were going to remain living together and had to find a place. And I had no idea like how that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't the breadwinner. So I didn't have any kind of credit to go get another house.
And the whole time we're telling this story, I want you to keep in mind the time frame of all of this happening was 1 week. It was
literally
it was 7 days.
Yes.
That all of this happened.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind.
It was a complete miracle. It was complete guidance. We were completely step by step being guided into exactly what we were supposed to do. And I've had permission from, I won't use names, but the apartment manager or townhome manager here was part of the story. And so I can tell the story because he said it was okay. It's a great story to share. And I hope that it gives hope to people, to let them know that people who have passed on we're getting signs from them. And this would be validation for it. So we had to find a place, couldn't find a place. I didn't want to live in an apartment because we had Lily. Lily likes to bark. And so a very good friend of mine, customer at the store, we became very good friends, suggested, well, there's got to be homes you can rent, like maybe townhomes. And I think the day you were in the back room at the store, you were just looking up like townhomes.
Yeah.
And
I had actually been looking at this one for like a year.
Oh, I see. And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And you show me the picture and I'm like, oh my God.
I was like, there's no way I'll ever be able to live in a place like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's like my dream place, but I don't know.
Yeah. And me too. Like the finishes here. This is the most beautiful townhome ever. It really has everything I've ever wanted. It's perfect, I think, for me as a single person, a single woman running a business, and then Hannah living here because we don't have to do yard work or any of that stuff, any of that yucky stuff. But anyway, yeah, who likes to cut grass? Hello. Like you sweat and then the grass sticks to you and then the bugs.
I think it would maybe be cool if I had a pair of really good headphones and one of those that you can drive around, because I would just whip it through the yard, you know?
Yeah, but the grass still gets on you if you're
yeah,
sweaty.
Just make sure not to wear lip gloss that day.
Right. Okay, so we're off the subject. Okay. Anyway, I like to shovel snow because you wear a cute hat. But anyway, okay. So back to the story. So we have to find a place. So she's looking at online at these townhomes, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, oh my God, Hannah, can you even imagine? Could we actually like live in a place like? And so I'm like, whatever. Just give me the phone number. I'm just gonna call just to see, to see.
First, we called 2 other places, and neither of them answered.
That's
neither
right.
of them answered.
That was the first sign. They didn't pick up. Like you would think.
You would think that like
the town,
a rental place would pick up.
Right. Didn't answer. Okay. So I call and I'm like talking to this nice young man. And I'm telling him my story and how I own McKinsey's and sold the house, or we're selling the house. We got to move out. We need a place. And, you know, I don't know if it's possible for us to work it out to live here. And he goes, and he said, I said something about the video. And he goes, yeah, I know I watched the video. And I'm like, what? Look, this guy watches the video. And he goes, well, if you knew my wife, you would know who I am. And then I put 2 and 2 together and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Well, I knew him. Turns out he doesn't answer the phones. That's not his thing. But the person who answers the phone stepped out.
For like lunch or something.
No, just like for that, just probably to go to the bathroom or something. They just stepped out for a little bit and he picked up the phone and it was me. And he's like, well, you know what? Why don't you just come look at it? And so that was a Wednesday, I believe. And I think we went and looked at it the next day on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And so we pull up and the number, I won't say the number of our townhome, but the number equals 17. And that's another whole story that we won't have time to talk about, but I will have the number 17 tattooed on my wrist because that was one of my dad's numbers, lucky numbers. Numbers are the other thing that we're going to talk about with signs. So 17. So the number of the townhome equals 17, right? So we just step foot in and I'm like, okay, love it. And he's like, well, wait, you got to see the rest of the place. I'm like, no, I love it. He's like, no, come on, let's go upstairs. He shows us Hannah's wing.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome, whatever, in her own bathroom. And then, I mean, our house was nice, but it was very modest.
Yeah.
It was small and it was very modest.
We all shared a bathroom.
Yeah.
And
it was tiny.
It was good when we were kids.
It was a good home for when you have little kids.
Yeah.
But so then we get down to my wing, the other end, and it's massive. The closet. I'm like, oh my God, the closet is freaking out. The bathroom is huge. The bedroom is just beautiful, huge. Anyway, so we're standing there talking and it was the end of January. That's right. It was the end of January.
Yeah.
And we're talking about he's like, well, do you want to see another townhome? No, it has to be this one because, you know, it's my dad's, equals up to my dad's number. I believe my dad has led us here and I think it has to be this one. And he's like, yeah, we believe in those signs too. And here he and his wife had just lost her grandmother. It was right during Christmas time, I believe. Yeah. She lost her and they call her Gigi. And so he's talking about the grandmother and how this necklace that I believe the grandmother had given his wife had fallen or something on the floor. And the grandmother loved those little letters, XOXOXO, you know, when you see like at Valentine's Day and stuff. So XOXO. And that's what the necklace, I believe, was. Didn't the necklace say it have XOXO? Because that's what he's talking all about XOXO, whatever, hugs and kisses. And it was the weirdest thing because I totally like zipped my coat down and I had a t-shirt that I wore that day that had XOXO on it.
Yeah, it was just big letters, XOXO.
Because it was a Valentine's Day t-shirt and all it said was XOXO. And I looked over at Hannah like, holy crap, are you listening to him?
Well, I pointed it out first.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't going to wear that shirt that day. Because I
Yeah.
had like a important meeting in the morning. I thought, I can't wear like a little t-shirt. I got to wear something. And I thought, no, I want to wear this t-shirt. And so we showed him my t-shirt and he like had to turn around and he walked to the window and he had tears in his eyes. And we're like, see, like that is such a sign right there. Like, what are the odds that I would have that t-shirt on? And he's talking all about this wonderful grandmother, Gigi, who, loved XOXO. Like, that was insane.
Yeah.
And so then that weekend, we like kind of wrap things up and we had to wait. You have to wait to the approval or whatever, how it's going to work out. And so that weekend, we're like, okay, we're going to go dream. Let's go to like some furniture places and pretend we can just get all new stuff, which we ended up doing. We were big time manifesting back then.
Yeah, because we didn't even have it yet, and we like bought a bunch of new furniture.
Yeah, we were totally like Clark Griswold.
Yeah,
put the money down for the pool, and we didn't have the bonus yet.
Right.
We just were believing it, right? We had faith, and so that day we're on our way to go check some places out. And I said, well, let's ask for a sign from angels today. And I can't remember what my sign was, probably red Jeep or something. And you said, what do you remember what yours was?
Yes, I said a bear. I was like, I don't know why.
Bear came to your head.
Yeah, I was like, a bear.
We're going to see a bear. And I'm like, okay, so we'll say a black bear, a brown bear, or a polar bear.
Yeah.
If we happen to see one of those, that's our sign that we're going to get the townhome. We're going to be living there.
Yeah.
And so then we went to this place that we'd never been to before. And we're kind of walking all the way to the back and we're looking around and I'm like, holy crap, Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
Here there was a big picture of a black bear and a brown bear. They were in the same big like painting. Mm-hmm. And then right below it was a painting of a polar bear.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not, but okay. So I'm like, holy crap, we're going to be living there. We're going to get the townhome. But then we walked around the corner and there was a carved out, remember it was carved out in wood. It was beautiful, like a plaque, XOXO.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's done.
Yeah.
It's done. It's happening. And then that Monday he called and said, yeah, you got the townhome. And then like in a week we packed everything we could and brought what we could here and moved in. That was incredible.
That was such a wild experience to go through.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that it happened like that.
And I know that it was meant to happen because of all those signs.
Yeah.
Because of the way it happened like that. If you're not a person who pays attention to stuff like that, you would have just thought, okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like we were being guided. Like this is the place we need to live in.
Yeah. Even the year before when I saw it.
Yeah. It was already put into your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible. So things like that really like are just amazing to me.
I think lastly, we should cover numbers and songs. I think those are the last two.
Because the next one was going to be about a song, but you go first.
So for me, and I think a lot of people too, it's a common sign that they take, but it's called angel numbers. Basically, it's where you have repeating numbers that show up, and it can be like any sequence of numbers that means something to you. It means that it has a meaning. I think I have a book. I do. I have the angel number book.
Oh yeah,
behind here. But it just talks about how like any repeating numbers that you see have a meaning. So if you see like one that I see a lot is 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 12:34 on the clock twice a day because I'm awake at midnight and I'm awake at noon.
Yeah.
So I see 1, 2, 3, 4 at least 2 times a day, if not more.
Yeah.
I also resonate with the number 64. That's been like my favorite number since I was in middle school. And it's the number of blocks that you can have in a stack in Minecraft.
Oh, okay.
So I see 64 everywhere.
Yeah.
And so if you see like any number, like on the clock, if you see the same
11,
time.
11, well.
But even like me and Miles both saw 7:47 a lot, like on the clock. I remember when we were kids, like that's the time that we always saw.
I remember you guys talking about that.
Yeah. So both him and I at the same time saw that. I don't even know what it means. And then we both saw 9/11 on the clock at the same time. So even numbers like that, where it's not like 111 or 222,
right?
Like if it's just a time on the clock that you see, or maybe it's like a number that you see on license plates a lot, or anything like that, that can be a sign. And pretty much everything has like a meaning to it.
You can Google all these numbers and there'll be some kind of a meaning. I mostly, and have been like all day long, I'll see 111, I'll see 222, 444, I'll see 999. I'll mention that to customers too. And sometimes their transaction might come to 777, or it's just weird, like weird combinations like that.
But like 1, 2, 3, 4 means everything is lining up. For you. It's the start of something new, a new beginning, and everything is lining up for you.
Right.
Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So just numbers have really cool meanings like that. And then for me, it's music, because I love music. So whenever there's like a chaotic situation going on, like we'll talk about,
to you especially,
I will listen to what the song is, and the song has a meaning to it.
Yes, so, in the middle of your chaos, if you have a radio or music playing, stop for a second and listen to what the song is, because 9 out of 10 times it's relevant to what's going on in the moment.
So, for example,
we have an example.
we went to Arbor Lakes for your birthday this past weekend, and I was driving home, and there was like there was like some semi truck that was like tilting.
Okay, well, it was semi truck, and then it was
3 semi trucks in a row. And the middle one was like swerving
over the white line.
Yep. And you're like, oh my God, we're gonna crash. Oh my gosh. Hannah, do you see Hannah? I'm like, calm down, breathe. I'm not going to have you pass out in the passenger seat while I'm trying to navigate this.
Which, by the way, I realized on this trip that I have now become my mother. I have been inching my way to being like grandma, but now I am officially grandma. I am on the passenger side saying, oh my God, there's what coming up on the right? They're stopping up ahead. Like I was constantly giving you a play-by-play. Thank God you were like calm about it and laughed basically about it. But
I laughed every time because you kept going, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I just don't like riding because we're going so fast.
Yeah.
And you have to trust that someone in that semi truck is going to be like, or anybody really.
So yeah, we're going fast and the semi truck is swerving. All of a sudden it's busy in all 3 lanes. Like I can't move. I'm just like staying in the fast lane. I'm like, don't worry, we're going to get past this. And all of a sudden I hear in the background, maybe we can find a place to feel good.
It's the Harry
Styles Treat People with Kindness song.
I didn't even realize that song was playing.
Yeah, I was like, because I was about to get like real road ragey, and I was
stepped on it.
Yeah, I was.
You're like, and I'm like, oh my God, maybe. I was freaking. I'm thinking the guy in the semi truck, the last one that we passed, must have been looking at me, hanging on to the side. He must have been looking at me like, what is going on with that?
Like, what's
Calm
going
down,
on?
woman. Gee.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So and if you haven't heard that song, go listen to it right after this.
Treat People with Kindness.
Because it's such a good song. But when you're in a chaotic moment, it is not the correct song to have on. It's a little Truman Showy where you feel like they perfectly timed the soundtrack.
Yeah, watch the Truman Show and then you'll know what we're talking about.
It's a little like perfectly planned out there.
Yeah.
So I took that as a sign of just like laugh about it. Like you're okay.
Yeah.
Like
And then we did laugh about it.
Oh, yeah.
Once we were past the crazy truck that kept swerving into that was a little scary. But yeah, that's true. Every time we're riding together and something's going on, there's usually some kind of weird or silly song. And it's crazy how it has something to do with the situation. But
yeah,
for me, this is a crazy story, and this happened not too long ago. I guess we could look it up. It was when there was the full moon, but I can't remember in what month it was. So it was that day was the full moon. And in the mornings I have angel cards and fairy cards. And so I'm shuffling that morning, just want to quick get a card because I'm late. Like it's a Saturday morning. I got to open up the store. And so I quick do a card, and the moon energy card drops out of the deck.
For the full moon.
And it's the day of the full moon. And I'm like, okay, well, there's a good sign. And I start reading the card, and it talks about going with the ebb and flow of life and, basically go with the flow. And then at the bottom, the last sentence was something about you will have peace of mind. And I think of that great Boston song, Peace of Mind. And it's my sister Anita's, one of her favorite songs as well, Peace of Mind. So I'm thinking about Anita. I'm thinking about the Boston song, Peace of Mind. And I go to work and I realize I have to get changed. So I have to go to the bank. It's now 8:45. I open at 9. I'm waiting in line like, oh my gosh, at the bank and through the drive-through. And impatient. And I'm pressing like all the buttons of what song do I want to hear to start my day. And I see I think it's 103.7 or something. It's like a hard rock station. And I look at it and I'm like, oh, heck no, I can't listen into that this early in the morning. And then literally in this ear, I hear, but what if Peace of Mind is on? I literally heard, and I heard it like that. It was that tone. But what if Peace of Mind is on? I heard that. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't like an actual voice. It was like inside. And I pushed the button. And what do you suppose was just starting? Mm-hmm. Peace of Mind. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, holy crap. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't believe this is happening. Like I got my change. I'm like listening to it. I pull over in the parking lot and I'm taping it because I'm like, I gotta film this. No one's going to believe me. And so I filmed it and then I sent it to my sister Anita, along with a picture of the card that said Peace of Mind on it. So it was like crazy to me. And these things happen to me constantly. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why every time they happen, I'm like, I can't believe this happened because it happens all the time. But pay attention to things like that because there was a message, and listen to the words of that song are incredible. Like mm-hmm. It is a really good message. And that's an old song from, I believe, the 70s. So go back and listen to Peace of Mind if you're that 70s, 80s person. But that was a great day. And that day ended up being one of the best days ever. Like the store, like everyone who came in was happy. I was happy. Mm-hmm. You could just feel the energy that I was giving off from that one thing happening with that song coming on. Mm-hmm. The energy and the vibration I was giving off was completely coming back. Everyone else was feeling that. And they didn't even know about this story. Mm-hmm. They just could feel what my energy was just from that one thing happening like that early in the morning. So that was just super cool. I loved that.
Yeah, when I heard about that, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was insane. And that happens like every time we go into Freddy's too, because they play 80s music. Mm-hmm. And every time we go into Freddy's restaurant, I love it so much. And when I walk in there, I'm like, I love it in here so much. And I say this every single time. You're like, do. Why do we have to go over this every time we come in here? Because I'll just comment on everything. Yeah. I love the pictures in here. I love the colors in here. I love the diner.
This song. Oh, Hannah, I love this song.
I love this song. Then Separate Ways came on. We were just in there. On Sunday when we came back from Maple Grove. We stopped at the one in St. Cloud here. And our ticket number, I have it here. I brought it. Our ticket number, I don't know if you want to show them. For real, 111.
Yeah, it's 111.
Yeah. And so then when the guy has to call our food, he's like, ticket number 111. I'm like, yes, 111. Because
I don't know if you'll be able to see that.
Probably not. But that's the Power Angel. So I'm like, I'm saving that one.
Yeah.
But everything happens positively when I go into Freddy's. Mm-hmm. Like good things happen. And it's because I'm feeling so good about that place. It's because I love the feel there. I love everything about the story of Freddie. He was a vet. I think I've talked about this before. I just love it, and I love the food. So yeah. So signs, synchronicities. Synchronicities would be those numbers.
Yeah.
There are no coincidences in life. When you're like, wait a minute, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence. That was really meant to happen. Those are signs to you.
And if you've had anything like that, please comment. I want to read some.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to read about people's like stories with this kind of thing.
I would love to have a whole book, a collection of stories. Like, you hear those stories of people, who were, well, I didn't want to go. They have to go to some wedding or they have to go to some event. And they're like, I didn't want to go, but something told me I should just go. And then they end up meeting like the love of their life.
Yep.
And they get married.
Yep.
Like stuff like that is just all perfectly planned out.
Yeah.
It is all divine timing. It's all perfectly planned. But yeah, everybody has a story like that or knows someone. Yeah, share those stories.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear them.
For sure. Yeah. Should we do our 3 favorites?
Should I do my show and tell?
Yeah. Do you want to start off with that?
Yeah, I'm going to quick do it because I know we're like running out of time.
Oh, it's okay. That's okay.
I'm going to quick do my show and tell. So when we went out for my birthday, we went out with, and this is another sign. We went out to eat with Hannah's boyfriend's family. And it's been maybe 5 years since I've seen them.
Yeah, because we're going on our 5th anniversary this June.
Yeah, and it was like right in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely people. Absolutely love them, adore them. And Alan's brother came too. Just wonderful, delightful people. I could just spend hours and hours and hours with them. But anyway, they didn't need to get me a birthday gift, but they did. And, of all the places in Maple Grove, like we went to this store and we weren't even going to go in. And you're like, let's go. What's it called? Like
Patina.
It reminds me a little bit of our Copper Pony. I mean, really, really beautiful things in there. Just gorgeous things. And so we're looking around the store, whatever. We just go in. I'm like, okay, fine. We'll go in for a little bit. And then all the jewelry like is in the case, beautiful in glass cases. And I'm looking right before we leave, I'm looking at this one particular necklace, and it's like a carved out, because I love stones and crystals, and it looks like a carved out, it's the shape of Minnesota on a beautiful chain. And it's like, has like brown lines, almost like an agate type thing. And there's other colors, but for some reason my eye kept going to that brown one. And so we get to the restaurant with Alan's family. So Alan's mother gives me this little box. Okay. So this is my show and tell. I literally open it up and I look at what's inside. And now I'm going to have you walk up to and show this. I started crying. Okay. Because Hannah's going to show you what it was, what they picked out for me. Okay. You guys, it was the very necklace that I looked at probably 3 or 4 hours earlier in the day. And I wanted that necklace, but I walked away from it. And here it is. And it's the same one. It's the brown. And Alan's mother said, well, I was going to do the purple. And, but Alan's dad said, no, it has to be the brown one. And the brown one is the one I wanted. Like of all the stores like they could have went to, how did they pick out? There's thousands of things in that store.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And how did they know
one item?
That one necklace that I wanted. I started crying. I knew right in that moment, and I could feel my dad's presence because I knew my dad would love to visit with them and would love them because I know he would love or does love Alan. So when I saw that necklace, I knew right in that moment, oh my gosh, we are connected. Like this is all happening exactly the way it's meant to happen.
Yeah.
And we're all meant to be here together right in this moment because what are the odds?
Right. That is so crazy. I didn't even know that you wanted that necklace either. So when you pulled it out, you were like, oh my God. I was like, what? What's wrong? What's wrong?
This is the one. Yeah. Because I didn't say anything to you because I was just kind of quietly looking at, You were probably looking at, I don't even know what you were looking at.
There's
Something
so
else.
much to look at.
Oh,
Yeah.
those little dishes you want, the little
Oh,
strawberry
yeah.
dishes, the little bowls.
Yeah, they were so cute.
little
They were like these
bowls.
little like strawberry shaped like dip bowls.
Yeah, like special little bowls. And so you were probably looking at those, and I was just looking at all the jewelry in the glass case, and it was so. And then my eye went right to that one, and there, it's mine now. I mean, I don't know, like what that, like if I literally called that into my life, like manifest. I don't even know, because I looked at it and then I forgot about it, and then like 4 hours later, it's in my hands. I don't know, you guys, things like that. It's not a coincidence. You don't take that for granted. That's a beautiful, beautiful confirmation of we were right where we were supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that moment in time. And it was just lovely. It was a lovely evening.
Yeah. That was one of my favorites this week too, was that dinner and that trip.
And that would be one of, obviously, like almost all of my favorites combined. I have one other little one.
Yeah.
Do you have any other favorites?
I do. So I don't think a whole lot of people know this about me. Not even a lot of my friends know this about me. I told 2 of my friends, they were like, what?
Uh-oh.
You like that? And I was like, yeah, I do. I don't know. I am a massive WWE fan.
Oh, God, that's right. Oh, my God.
I love professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I think it is so fun to watch because personally, I think professional wrestling is just another art form. Like the amount of strength and agility, you have to be so good at that.
Yeah, it's like
in order to
performing arts.
perform.
Yep.
It is.
Mhm.
It's like I love musical theater. And it's just another type. It's just not musical. But just like the lore goes so deep. So it was WrestleMania 40, which was so good. Okay, like I was screaming. It was so good. I got to watch night 2. Right. Because we were gone night 1. But night 2, wrestling is back.
You shouldn't say what happened in case somebody hasn't watched it.
I mean, at this point, it's been like over a week.
I mean,
and even if you don't watch wrestling, if you have TikTok, you've probably seen clips of it.
Yeah.
But the main event was for I have it written down because I didn't want to mix up my belts. It was for the WWE Universal Championship belt. So Roman Reigns, who I love Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his story is so inspirational. He had leukemia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He had leukemia. He started off on the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Had to quit when he was 22 because he developed leukemia. Went into wrestling after he recovered and was in remission. And then while he was wrestling, he got leukemia again. And he then recovered from it again. And he won the WWE Universal Champion belt. And he's had that for like 3.5 years now.
Right.
And so he is like seriously changed the game for wrestling. He is like this generation's The Rock, John Cena.
Yeah, because it was really big and then it kind of faded a little bit. And I feel like now it's coming back again.
Wrestling is back after WrestleMania, baby. It is fully back. And I am so excited.
I can't believe you like that.
I am so excited because it was him versus Cody Rhodes. Now, Cody Rhodes has a very interesting story as well. And I wanted him to win. I love Roman Reigns, but like pretty much everyone was rooting for Cody to win at this point. Cody Rhodes was the son to Dusty Rhodes, which he is like a very popular wrestler as well. And
from the 80s?
Yeah.
Okay.
From the 80s era of WWE.
So if you watch that stuff, you'll know.
He never got to win a WWE championship belt. He never got to win any of that. And so Cody Rhodes went into wrestling. His dad got to see him wrestle. The WWE was taking his character into a different direction that he didn't want to go into. So he left and he went off and made his own wrestling company and did all of this cool, crazy stuff. He builds his character, the American Nightmare, comes back into wrestling after his dad passes away in 2015. And his whole thing that he wants to do is he wants to finish his story. You know, his dad never got the championship belt and he had to get fired and went off and did his own thing.
Yeah.
Now he wants to win. It's his time to win, not only for himself, but for his father as well. It's time for him to finish his story.
And all the fans that loved his father probably.
Yes. Too. And so WrestleMania 39 last year, he goes up against Roman Reigns, and the Bloodline, which is like the group that Roman Reigns is a part of, the Bloodline interferes and Cody Rhodes loses. And everyone is pissed off. Like, this is crazy. You didn't let him finish his story. What's up with that? So they have beef and drama throughout the entire year. And we get to WrestleMania 40. And The Rock is on Roman Reigns' side. So it's The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins used to be friends with Roman Reigns, and the lore goes deep there, the Shield.
Okay.
And so it's night 2, main event night. Bloodline rules because the Bloodline won the first night. And it's Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the Universal Champion belt. Okay. And this fight goes on for like 45 minutes. They are tired. They are drained. Like, they can barely do anything anymore.
Right.
And all of a sudden, all of these stars come out. So John Cena comes out. Okay, first it's the Usos, which are part of the Bloodline. Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's Sikoa, which is, I want to say he's a part of the Bloodline. I'm not sure. And then out comes John Cena, beats up them. Okay. And then comes out the Shield, which is my favorite group from WWE wrestling.
I don't know how you keep track, but
the Shield disbanded. The Shield disbanded a long time ago, and it made me so sad. But Seth Rollins comes out in his Shield gear. Okay. And then The Rock comes out. And The Rock is like, this is ridiculous.
And The Rock, I don't know if people know who The Rock is. Dwayne
The Rock Johnson.
Yeah,
You've got to know Dwayne The Rock
well,
Johnson.
I know him from movies and like, what's that cute Hawaiian? What's that one movie?
Moana.
Yeah, Moana.
Yeah, Moana.
Okay.
And so The Rock comes out and everyone's like, oh my gosh, final boss. Oh my gosh. And then the big boss, the Undertaker, comes out.
Yeah,
and
don't the lights go down or something? Like all the lights shut off?
Yes, because that's like what he's known for. You hear the bell. Ding,
scary.
And then the lights go out. Everyone's like, oh my God. I'm in a call with my friends. I'm like, oh my God, it's the Undertaker. And I'm losing it. And the Undertaker choke slams The Rock. And then the lights go out again. The bell rings. And then it's just Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and the belt. Okay, and then there's more Shield lore that happens, and Roman Reigns ends up betraying the other Shield member because they were there together through it all, and he'd rather take revenge than take the championship belt. And then Cody Rhodes does his moves that he does 3 times, and he wins.
And he won finally.
Finally, he finishes his story. I was emotional.
And I'm surprised because before it all even started, I said, oh, well, they're going to have The Rock win because he's the big star, right? I didn't know all those other people were going to, or I thought they would let the guy, the Minnesota Vikings.
Roman Reigns continue.
Yeah, that guy. I thought maybe they'd let him, but.
There was a chance, but.
Yeah, I can't believe how excited, because then the next morning I had to go to work and you're like, well, just wait. Let me, you like wake up out of a dead sleep. Well, just here, let me show you. And I'm like, I got to get to work.
It was
like, no, I want to show you.
No, it was so good.
Yeah. Looking back on all the, like the TikTok, those, what do you call those people that watch those and they
live streamers?
Yeah. Those people.
Yeah.
Their reactions are incredible. Just watching that. What a production that is. And that's great for that whole industry because, like I said, I feel like that wrestling thing kind of died out for a little bit. But yeah, this will definitely bring that industry back.
So long story short, Cody Rhodes finished his story and I cried.
And yes, now we know something else about Hannah. You have
Yes.
so many facets to you. Like you can be the feminine makeup girly girl, and then you're like the computer geeky nerd doing D&D.
And then I'm like, choke slam.
And then you're like,
from the top rope.
Yeah. That's crazy. You have such a wide, like you have so many ranges and so many personalities. That's awesome.
I don't know if anyone else that watches this watches WWE, but
yeah, maybe let us know if somebody does.
Please let me know if you watched WrestleMania 40, because that was insane.
That's just entertain. Your entertainment.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay. So really quick, do you have any other favorites?
That took up all of my favorites.
Yeah. And my other favorite was the little birthday party we had here, and just having Presley sitting on my lap, my grandbaby at 2 singing happy birthday, and then all my, family. So yeah, this was a great episode. Long.
Good. Yeah. Long.
But we have a lot to say.
Yeah. Glad you know WWE lore now. Don't even have to go watch anywhere else.
Yeah. Share some of your stories if you would like to in comments below, and let us know what signs you get, or just some things that have happened to you. We'd love to hear about them.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh God, we got to do a card.
Yeah. Should I shuffle this time?
You shuffle this time.
Ooh.
Yeah. You shuffle and then I'll pick.
Okay.
I can't wait to see what it is.
Okay.
It's like when we used to play old maid cards. And
Womp
you would
womp.
cry.
I'm the old maid.
You would cry when you would get the old maid.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we get this week. My only competitor is the person I was yesterday.
That's right. Finish your story.
Listen to Hannah, right? That's awesome. That's a good one. That's a good way. I hope that everybody has a fantastic week. Thank you for being patient watching this with us. If you made it all the way to the end, break it up. Because you can watch, what do you say?
You can watch us on YouTube if you're listening. And if you're watching, you can listen to us on Spotify. That's it.
Yes, everybody have a great day.
Yes, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. Choke slam.